Right now, behind your eyes, there is a system running that is older than language, older than farming, older than every city that has ever existed. It has one job: keep you alive, and most of the time you never notice it working. But every so often it does something strange. It hands you a feeling with no obvious cause: a jolt, a chill, a wave of unease in a room that is completely safe. You assume something is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. What you are feeling is a survival program that kept your ancestors alive for 200,000 years, still running on hardware that now spends its time in traffic and grocery stores. These are the feelings your brain gives you that it never bothered to explain. And once you understand what they're actually for, you will never experience them the same way again. You're in a crowd, facing forward, and suddenly you know, without checking, that someone behind you is looking at you. You turn. They are. Your brain didn't guess, it detected. Deep in your temporal lobe sits a strip of tissue called the superior temporal sulcus, and part of it does almost nothing except track where other eyes are pointed. For your ancestors, a pair of eyes locked onto you was one of the most important signals in existence. It could mean a predator had chosen its target. It could mean a rival was about to move. Missing that signal could be the last mistake you ever made, so your brain became extraordinarily good at catching it, even at the very edge of awareness. And researchers have found something stranger still. When you genuinely can't tell whether a stranger is looking at you, your brain doesn't settle on a neutral answer. It defaults to, "They're looking right at me." Being wrong and cautious cost your ancestors nothing. Being wrong and relaxed could cost them everything. That prickle on the back of your neck isn't paranoia. It's a threat detector that would rather alarm you 100 times than miss the one time it matters. You're standing somewhere high, a balcony, a cliff edge, a bridge. You are completely safe, completely calm. And then a thought arrives out of nowhere. What if I jumped? You don't want to. The thought horrifies you. You step back from the railing, heart pounding, wondering what is wrong with you. In 2012, researchers at Florida State University studied this exact experience and gave it a name: the high place phenomenon. And what they found flips the whole thing around. That thought is not a hidden wish. It's the echo of a safety signal. Here's what happens. Your survival system sees the drop and fires an instant, wordless alarm. Back away now. That alarm moves faster than your conscious mind. By the time the thinking part of you catches up, it feels the alarm but can't find the reason for it, so it invents one. It assumes the only reason you'd feel that jolt near an edge is that some part of you wanted to go over. The urge was never there. What was there was your brain screaming at you not to. You felt the brakes slam and you mistook them for the accelerator. You're drifting off, warm, heavy, almost gone. And then your whole body convulses, a sudden kick, the sensation of falling off a step that isn't there. You snap awake, heart racing, with no idea why. Around 7 in 10 people feel this regularly. It has a name: a hypnic jerk, and one explanation for it reaches a very long way back. As you fall asleep, your muscles go slack and your body temperature drops. The idea is that an ancient part of your brain, built for a time when your ancestors slept in trees, misreads that sudden looseness. It interprets the relaxation as a body beginning to fall, so it does the only sensible thing a tree-dwelling primate's brain could do. It fires every muscle at once to catch you, and it yanks you back to consciousness to confirm you're safe. There is no branch. There is no fall. You are lying in the safest place you own, but the program doesn't know that. For a fraction of a second, a reflex tens of millions of years old is convinced you're slipping off your perch in the dark, and it would rather wake you for nothing than let you drop. Rain is hammering the windows. Thunder is rolling somewhere close. The whole sky is turning itself inside out, and you are wrapped in a blanket, warm, calm, almost happy. There is a specific peace to watching violent weather from somewhere it can't reach you. It feels like the safest you ever are. That feeling isn't random either. For almost the entire history of your species, bad weather was a genuine threat. Finding shelter before a storm broke was a survival task with a pass-or-fail outcome. So your brain wired in a reward. When you are warm and dry while the world outside turns hostile, it releases a quiet wave of contentment. A signal that you've done the one thing that carried your ancestors through every winter and every flood. You are sheltered. The danger is out there, and you are in here. The comfort you feel during a storm is your brain marking a past test. It is the felt sense of survival itself. The deep animal satisfaction of being on the right side of the glass while the night does its worst. A shopping center after closing. Your school hallway in the middle of summer. An office at 3 in the morning, the lights are on. Nothing is broken. And yet the space feels deeply, almost physically wrong. There's even a word for the eerie atmosphere of a place that's usually full of people and now isn't. Your unease has a source, and it's the same machinery again. Your brain is a prediction engine. It builds a model of every familiar place and quietly fills in what should be there. A mall comes loaded with the expectation of crowds, noise, movement. So when you walk into that same space and the people are simply gone, reality and prediction don't match. And a mismatch that large trips a silent alarm. Something has changed here. You don't know what, and not knowing is exactly the problem. For your ancestors, a familiar place that suddenly emptied out was information. The group left for a reason. The others fled something. The silence itself was a warning. So a hollow, abandoned version of a place you know doesn't just look odd. It registers somewhere beneath thought as a sign that you should be paying very close attention. Your phone buzzes in your pocket. You reach for it. Nothing. No notification, no message. The pocket was empty the whole time. In one study, nearly 9 in 10 people reported feeling these phantom vibrations, and once you notice them, you can't stop. This one shows you the same system adapting in real time. Your brain runs on a simple rule that kept your ancestors alive. When a signal really matters, it is far safer to overdetect it than to miss it. Mistaking a stick for a snake costs you a moment of fear. Mistaking a snake for a stick costs you everything. So your brain tunes its filters toward catching the important thing, even at the price of false alarms. A buzzing phone now sits in the category of things that matter. A call, a message, the small social signals you're wired to track. So your brain quietly raises the sensitivity on that sensation, until an itch, a muscle twitch, or the press of fabric all get read as the buzz you're waiting for. The phantom vibration is an ancient threat filter pointed at a modern device. It's the same circuit that once listened for footsteps in the dark, now listening for your pocket. A song reaches a certain moment. A choir swells. A key changes. A single voice lifts above everything else. And a wave of chills rolls down your neck and arms. You aren't cold. Nothing has touched you. Scientists call this frisson, and not everyone gets it. Brain imaging has found that people who feel these musical chills tend to have denser connections between the part of the brain that processes sound and the parts that handle emotion and reward. In them, the signal travels a wider road. But why chills at all? The leading idea points back to the body's alarm response. The same mechanism that raises your hair when you're startled or afraid, a sudden burst of arousal flooding the body to prepare it, gets triggered by sound your brain reads as overwhelming or significant. Music hijacks a system built for awe and danger and aims it at a melody. The goosebumps you get from a song are a faint echo of the response that once stood your ancestors' hair on end in front of something vast or something coming for them. Your body is reacting to the music as if it were a force of nature. In a sense, it is. Pick a simple word, door. Say it out loud, over and over. Door, door, door. Keep going for half a minute. Somewhere in there, it breaks. The sound detaches from the meaning. Your mouth keeps making the shape, but the object is gone, and for a moment, door is just a strange noise a human can make. This is called semantic satiation, named back in the 1960s, and it reveals something your brain does constantly without telling you. Recognizing a word fires a specific pattern of neurons. Fire that exact pattern again and again with no break, and those neurons fatigue. They respond less each time, the way a muscle weakens under a load it can't put down, until the link between the sound and its meaning briefly goes quiet. It feels like a glitch. It's closer to a safeguard. Your brain is built to ignore the constant and react to the new, to filter out the still background and notice the thing moving through it. A signal that repeats with zero change carries no new information, so your brain stops spending energy on it. Say a word enough times, and you're forcing your mind to do, on purpose, what it does all day on its own. Tune out whatever has stopped mattering. None of these feelings are signs that something is wrong with you. They're the opposite. They are evidence that the system is working, that you're carrying a set of survival programs so old and so deep that they fire whether the threat is real or not. A drop with no danger, a pocket with no phone, a word repeated until it dissolves. Your brain didn't evolve to make you comfortable. It evolved to keep something alive long enough to pass it on, and it has never fully updated for a world of glass towers and silent malls and songs engineered to move you. So the next time your skin prickles in an empty room, or your body lurches you awake at the edge of sleep, you don't have to wonder what's wrong. Nothing is. It's just a 200,000-year-old guardian doing the only thing it has ever known how to do, the only way it knows how, keeping watch, even when there's nothing left to watch for.